What's up, green team? How's everybody doing? I hope that everybody is doing fine. Today is Monday and we are headed on home. How's everybody weekend? Everybody have a good weekend? I sure hope so. My weekend was quiet and uneventful, but it was definitely wet. It rained a nice little bit this weekend. Today I wanted to actually mention a couple things. The first thing I wanted to mention is about one of my new favorite ingredients. So this is not, I say a new favorite, but it's not a new ingredient to me, but it's a new favorite. So I've learned how to use it in so many different recipes, and I am really enjoying it, even to the point where I'm mentioning it to other people. This is, and a lot of y'all who know anything about plant-based options are probably way familiar with this, most specifically the brand. It is the Morningstar brand, and I've mentioned this, not just the brand, but this particular ingredient before, but not in the way that I'm about to mention it now. So it's made by Morningstar, and it is the Chipotle black bean crumble. Why is this now one of my new favorites? Well, I have really learned to use this product in so many different recipes, and one of the reasons that I started using it so much is because I made a soup, and I just took the bag, opened it up, dumped the whole bag in there, and I was like, I wonder if this is going to be enough or if I need to go get another bag. So I said, well, you know what, I'll wait and I'll let the soup kind of go, and I'll taste it, and we'll see, where to go from there. And one of the things, because I have high blood pressure, one of the things that I've gotten accustomed to is I prepare my food and then I wait until a certain cooking point before I actually taste it. And I'm not a taste tester. I don't like taste testing my food, but I've had to do that most specifically lately because of this technique that I'm doing. So I let my food, I wait till I get to a particular cooking point, and then I taste it. And lately I have not had to add very many spices to my food because of what I'm actually cooking. So between the flavor of the natural flavor of the ingredients, and also because of some of the packaged products that I'm using, it brings its own flavor. So I haven't had to add anything, which is really good for someone who deals with health problems, most specifically diabetes or high blood pressure. So with the black bean crumble, I let it go for a little, let my soup go. This is the only prepackaged ingredient that I use in my whole soup. Everything else I cut up and all that stuff. So after I let it go, probably maybe 15 to 20 minutes, I went ahead and I tasted it. I tell you what, I didn't have to add any spices to my soup at all. The black bean crumble brought its own flavor panel to the game, and it was really good. I didn't even have to add another pack of the black bean crumble, because there was, like, after it started breaking down and things like that, it was just the perfect balance from that product with the rest of the ingredients, where it did not come across as having too much meat or whatever. It was the right amount of liquid, the right amount of solid ingredients, the right amount of spice and taste, and it was flavor. It was really good. So this made me start, got me to thinking, I know that it's good in other things, but I usually use like the Boca crumbles or, you know, some of the other crumble type products. But the funny thing is, this particular, the Chipotle black bean crumble, does not look like those other products. So I was kind of leery about, you know, what I would take away from the dish once it was done. So anyway, I decided that I was going to start using it in some of my other things. Now, here's the thing. This is the reason. Because the texture, instead of it having like a ground beef texture to it, or ground turkey, ground chicken, that kind of texture to it, it has kind of a chunky texture, and the chunks of the product, the chunks of what's in the product actually comes across. It translates like a very tender roast or a very tender steak that's been diced up really fine, which makes it very meaty. You have your black beans, you have the spice from the Chipotle, but the part of the product that mimics meat translates like I said, a very tender roast or a steak. And that was great. So you wouldn't think necessarily to use it like in spaghetti and stuff like that, but more like a stew or whatever. But I've been putting it in some of everything. I put it in my my breakfast crumble. I put it in I've made spaghetti, chili, a bunch of different soups, a couple different stews. I'm putting it in my quesadillas. I'm putting it in tacos, burritos, shepherd's pie. This product is so versatile. It is just, it's very interesting how it pairs with so many different things. So that's the first thing. Well, the second thing is, I have had a few people contact me because they're now having to learn how to eat differently for health reasons. And everybody, you know, who knows my story, anybody who knows my story knows that I didn't go vegetarian. I didn't adopt a plant-based diet because it was the fad thing to do, or because I just was dying to be vegetarian, anything like that. I did it for health reasons. I did it because it seemed like the most logical thing for me to do, considering I had already done so many other things, and they worked and then they stopped working, and then, you know, the weight came off and then it came back. So it was just so many things going on with my body that I was like, you know, I just started eliminating stuff. And I noticed that when I eliminated these things from my diet, I started feeling better. So then I was like, I wonder if I eliminate, I already knew, because the smell of pork was making me just fiercely ill. And then the beef, red meat, it wasn't making me ill, but it started smelling funny to me. And then I noticed when I ate it, I felt very weighted. And so I was flexitarian for a little while because I was only eating seafood and poultry. And so I kept saying to myself, I wanted to transition to a vegetarian lifestyle, because I really, if it feels this good to give up the red meat and the pork, you know, I would love to be able to give up the other meat and just focus on having a plant-based diet and seeing how that makes me feel. And if it didn't make a difference, then I would go back to eating, you know, if nothing else but the poultry. Seafood I could, you know, do without, because I really wasn't a fish person, and, you know, who can afford to eat crab every day of their life, right? And lobster, hello. So I was just gonna stick with the poultry, you know, if it didn't matter. Well, it did matter. The issue that I was having was, for those of you who don't know my story, I was not only transitioning to a full plant-based, well, not full plant, lacto-vegetarian, because I wasn't giving up dairy. I love yogurt and cheese and stuff like that, and that's just not something I'm ready to give up right now. But lacto-vegetarian lifestyle, but I was also about to have, and actually had, a bariatric surgery, And the problem with that was a plant-based diet is primarily carbs. Well, a bariatric patient has to have a primarily protein-based diet, because you have a portion of your stomach that's not connected anymore, and you need the protein to keep your muscles from breaking down, and also to help push the processing of the food that you're taking in, to carry, also, to help carry the nutrients and things like that. So I was struggling with, a really weird dynamic. I need as much protein as I can get, but I was on this plant-based diet, which is high in carbs, and so I was trying to find a happy medium. And so and I kept saying, well, I'll just eat a piece of chicken. Instead of me trying to find plant-based alternatives to get my protein, I just kept falling back on, well, I'll just eat a piece of chicken. And so I finally had to tell myself, either I want to fully transition into vegetarian lifestyle, or I don't. And so I decided that I really did. And because of that, I just went cold turkey. And it forced me to really be on the hunt for products and ingredients, even if I only heard of them before. But I was gonna have to do the research to those ingredients and products that I was familiar with, to learn how to cook with them, and those things that I never heard of before, to do some research and try to become familiar enough with them that I felt comfortable cooking with them. To date, there's probably only one ingredient that I feel real weird about preparing. I'm still not 100% confident, and that's jackfruit. But I know a lot of people, like at my job, there's one of my coworkers that she's been kind of turning people on to jackfruit. But the thing of it is, she introduced it to them literally as something that you just eat as a snack. So they're buying a jackfruit and just cutting it up and eating it that way, eating it raw. Well, for me, because jackfruit is supposed to be so versatile, my introduction to actually using it was, I bought some in a can, and it was okay, but I don't know if it was because it was in a can that I wasn't really sold on the texture and the flavor of it. I was a little leery about trying it fresh, because I know everybody was like, oh, it's kind of like a very mildly flavored, say mango or something like that. So they described it as an actual fruit taste, but it wasn't overly sweet and things like that. So I don't know, that's just one ingredient that I have not really ventured into, and I know eventually I will, but right now, especially considering I heard that it's because of the size and the price per pound is expensive. So no, I'm not about to spend all that money to play with something, and then it I don't get my money's worth. It's ruined, things like that. So I'm not ready to go there yet. Anyway, I said all that to say that I find it very interesting that I have people coming to me and talking to me about plant-based diet, and there's people that have made comments like, when I offered to cook dinner, like we talking about doing a couple's dinner or whatever, I'll have people say, now, all right, now, we coming over for dinner, you're going to have some meat on the table. And it's like, for real? Because my husband is a meat eater. My husband is not a vegetarian. And that although we don't cook a lot of meat in the house, I don't cook the meat at all. If we have raw meat in the house, he has to handle it, because the smell of it makes me sick. But I try to buy him things that are already prepared. That way he just has to heat it up, or we can dice it up, chop it up, whatever we got to do, and we can put it in other things like salads and soups and stuff like that. But for the most part, my husband's 85% plant-based. But I buy him meat because I want him to feel comfortable being able to enjoy the things that he wants, because he doesn't make a fuss out of eating what I want, And so there are times where if he wants meat, then that'll be the only thing he has on the side of what I'm eating. But if he has the soup and the stew and the pasta and stuff like that I fix, he just eats whatever, that I'm fixing. So we have a pretty simple lifestyle. We don't have anything complicated where we fixing 2 different meals and all that. We don't do all of that. And so people automatically assume that because I'm vegetarian, he's vegetarian too, or I'm forcing him to eat the stuff that I eat. And I'm like, no, he seems to be pretty cool with it, and he actually feels better, but he does eat meat still, you know. So it's interesting. So now this person who joked with me quite often, as a matter of fact, basically came and was like, I need to talk to you. I need you to help me. And, you know, he talked about me meal prepping, you know, for him and things like that. So yeah, you know, he talking to me about, you know, helping him meal prep and try to kind of get his diet back on track and, you know, things like that, because, you know, he needs to lose some weight, and, you know, he's starting to experience some symptoms that he's not too happy with. So I have a couple family members also that are doing the same thing, and, you know, it's interesting because, you know, they're asking so many questions, and I'm answering the questions, and their reaction is really, I guess interesting is the word that I can say, because in their mind, you know, they feel like I'm very knowledgeable and stuff like that. And I'm saying I learned what I learned because I had to learn it for me, but I still feel like there's so much more that I could learn. I don't think that you could ever really know everything there is to know about nutrition and food and medicine and things like that anyway. But I have so much more to learn. I haven't really put in the time and effort to learn things as much as I should have, but I am where I am because of the time that I did put in. And so it feels really good to be valued that way. And, you know, when I look at Simply Quinoa, and I look at Sweet Potato Soul, you know, Alyssa, and, you know, you look at these people who've been doing this for years, and, you know, they're so comfortable in the kitchen. And I guess if that was the direction I was going with the entire transition in my diet and in my lifestyle, you know, I would probably be as comfortable as they are, because you're doing so much. Like, say for example, they, you know, they have YouTube channels, so they're always experimenting with recipes, and they're always introducing new ingredients, and, you know, giving you recipes and examples of ways that you can use those ingredients, because they're constantly that's their life. Nutrition and a plant-based, vegetarian, vegan, that's their life, you know. So for me, it's not my life, it is my lifestyle, which is a little different, because for me, I'm doing these things to be able to enjoy my food, and for me to feel better. So anyway, those are the 2 things that I kind of wanted to stop in and talk to you about today. I hope this video wasn't too long, but if you can leave in a comment just a little something for me to know, like, what type of, if you're a vegetarian or you're a vegan or neither, and you're just a person who enjoys plant-based ingredients or products, leave me a comment leave me a comment below letting me know what is your favorite ingredient. You know, give me an example of how you prepare it. You know, what is it that drew you to that particular ingredient or that product. Also, if you want to leave me a comment letting me know, because I'm thinking I want to try to do like a little short series on using this product. If maybe not a series, but maybe a video showing you how to use it, like a few different ways, like in the soups and stews and pastas and quesadillas, and, you know, the different things that I've mentioned. If you think you might be interested in seeing something like that, leave me a comment below and let me know. And you know, I'll put a video together showing you how I use this one ingredient, which is the Morningstar Chipotle black bean crumble. how I use it in my home. And I'm hoping that this would actually be helpful and beneficial to somebody else. If you think that you might be interested in transitioning to a plant-based diet and you have questions, feel free to drop those in the comments below as well. I do not have all the answers. However, I do have other channels that I've watched and I've learned over the years, because I've been vegetarian since 2011. This is 2018. Woo woo. I will I'll drop the links for those channels below in the description box, so that you can refer to those channels. Also, if you have any questions or comments or recommendations, if you're on a plant-based diet, vegetarian, vegan, whatever, and you have some suggestions, please leave those below, because the thing of it is, as we're watching these videos, and I'm a huge YouTube fan. I have so many channels out there that I look forward to watching their videos, all the time. I read through the comments sometimes when I'm looking for something in particular. If something is mentioned in the video, I'm looking in the comments for, the other subscribers to leave that information, to try to help kind of build up in whatever area the video is about. So I'm trying to encourage you all to do the same thing. So if you have any recommendations, if you have any suggestions, if you use this product before and you have a suggestion for how to a dish maybe I haven't mentioned, leave those in the comment box, leave those in the comments below, so that we all can benefit from that. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'm so glad to be talking to you all again. This has been awesome. So, as usual, we want to just say love yourself, love somebody else, and until the next time, y'all take care. Green team. Peace.